Okay, this is Richard Kusiolek with GMC TV, and I'm here at Milcom 2014, and I'm talking with Walter Podbelski, who is a director of business development with Alma Electronics. It's really a pleasure to have him here. I'm going to just ask a few questions. Perhaps you can tell us a little bit about yourself. That would probably be a good beginning.
Sure, thank you. So yes, I'm Director of Business Development at Alma Electronics. I've been in the packaging business for 30 years. Basically, I'm responsible for business development, and I'm also responsible for our component and enclosure line. So.
Okay, excellent. So you have a lot of responsibility, and
yes,
and so you've been in the industry for a bit as well.
Yes, I go back to the days of wire wrapping, and
oh my gosh,
I've had some.
That reminds me of my days at Honeywell. Wow, Gardner Denver machines.
That's right.
Can you kind of describe a little bit of the market for your products and
Sure.
services in your industry sector for us?
Sure. Well, Alma is as I said, a packaging expertise, has a packaging expertise, putting electronics and allowing them to operate in all types of environment. And our specialty is really ruggedized systems, making systems operate in the harshest environments. And we do everything from fully integrated systems to selling, components from card type components, to chassis, to full cabinets and integrated cabinets as well. So that's a new business venture for us.
And you're located in the United States, I understand.
Yes, we are located in Fremont, California.
Oh, really?
That is our base. However, we have operations in Pennsylvania, Georgia, as well as other global locations.
Wow. Can you kind of, everybody talks about, what's happening as far as the business outlook. Can you kind of give us some insights, going into 2015?
Yeah, it's a tough question, and it's an even tougher one to answer. I guess we are cautiously optimistic. We do see some sectors of the market growing, particularly in the smaller types of boxes, small form factor systems. Our primary business has been in the 19-inch world, but we're seeing a lot of that technology transition into the smaller type boxes, which are requiring much more technology in a smaller package, in terms of heat dissipation and ruggedization.
And how many years has your company been in business?
My goodness, Alma has been in business for 50 plus years.
Wow.
So.
And I'm just rather curious because everybody, of course, at Milcom is talking about innovation and R&D. So can you kind of give us a little bit of an insight? Of course, a lot of this is proprietary, obviously. I don't want you to give me the exact figures, but what about R&D? What do you do in the R&D area?
As far as R&D goes, we work on a lot of project type business with key customers. So basically what happens is we'll get a packaging, a customer's looking for a packaging solution in a really harsh environment. And we'll come up with a solution, for that customer. And a lot of our research will go into project specific type business. And in some cases, like we've launched a new product now for board retention in very, very ruggedized environments, and also to help transition the heat off the board. We're terming it a Sure Lock. And now we're also releasing that as a standard product to sell as a component as well as a solution to a specific problem.
So your R&D is kind of driven by your customer base.
It's driven by our customer. We're very customer focused.
Well,
so.
That's very challenging as well. And if you've been in business for as many years as you have, you've been able to meet that challenge.
Yeah, and that's how Alma has grown. Is really being a solution for customer packaging problems.
Okay, excellent. Well, there's an organization called DISA, and DISA and the organization of the DoD kind of acts as the acquisition arm of the Department of Defense. And I'm just kind of curious, this Milcom talks a lot about defense and military and so forth. And I'm just kind of wondering, how can, in your opinion, can this organization do a better job of keeping pace with private industry's technological changes?
Yeah, that's, again, another very good question. Well, first of all, we most of our business, actually, all of our business in the military defense space is through the prime contractors, not directly to the government. So a lot of the information today, so much is web driven. There's so many solutions out there. So from my standpoint, we continue to search for better ways to make the same box, better costs, more efficient ways, and things like this. So I think a lot of it is the research that's out there, what companies like Alma are doing in that space to find, is there a more cost-effective way, and to really get into looking at some of these companies' websites and looking at some of their white papers and their technologies to say, maybe there's better ways to accomplish the same solution to a problem.
Right. Well, this is really great to hear, because this is the overall theme, as you hear from the generals and so forth talking about the same thing you're talking about. And I think Prime should really be aware of Alma Electronics and what a great job they're doing.
Yeah,
I mean, that is a good point.
In fact, one of the big things that we do with customers, we have what's called a lunch and learn session. So we'll come in and we'll set up meetings, in 2-3 hour type meetings where we'll provide a lunch. We'll bring engineers in, and we keep them up to date on the latest technology in packaging, new solutions to old problems.
Excellent. I'm kind of wondering, because we're talking about budgets all the time, and what's some of the challenges you're kind of facing, because we all know they're all talking about lower budgets, sequester, and so forth.
Yeah.
So how are you kind of coping with that challenge?
Well, our solution there is again, part of these lunch and learns is to try to show that we can provide lower cost solutions using some of the newer technology. So there's a consistent pressure to look at more efficient ways to package a box. And a prime example is some of the applications that were in 19-inch systems and required a lot of space. Now a lot of that can be done on a single board, single board computing, be it COM Express or PC 104, and effectively provide the same solution in a smaller box at a lower cost. So a lot of that, the way we're doing that, is trying to educate the suppliers out there that there's more cost-effective ways to get things done.
Great. Again, the big question I have, this is kind of my question, do you really think the government is really committed to private industry in this time of drastic budget cuts and sequester? I mean, are they really committed, or is it just kind of a talking point?
Yeah, that's a tough one for me to answer. It's
I got you in the hot box.
Bit of a slippery slope. I would say they are committed, but I think there's better ways maybe to get this commitment out to the the private industry. And sometimes, like with always, there's too much red tape and too many channels that you have to go through. So
yeah. Well, I think you're probably actually a megaphone to from some of the comments you just made from many people I've talked about. They say the same thing. So it seems to be a trend. So anyway, what are some of the impacts of this downturn? It's kind of affecting your overall mission. As you go forward, with your particular business development and say the company as a whole.
Yeah. Well, a lot of it now is trying to get to the people that are making the decisions. The trade shows have been tough. They have been impacted by it. The attendance has been down. So we have to find other ways to get to these people, be it social media, webinar type things, but that's been the challenge to us is to get to the people, to try to show them again some of the newer ways that from our standpoint, from a packaging aspect.
Yeah, I really like the way you express your overall commitment. This is something that I'm depicting here from our conversation. So let me just kind of do a wrap up here.
Sure.
And I'll kind of leave you to maybe make some final points, summary, and so forth.
I guess from a summary standpoint, we're optimistic. We're a very customer-focused company. And you know, we see the future as bright.
Right.
We think there's you know, there's business that we had in the past, but it's going into a new format.
Yeah.
And for us, you know, our strength is through partnerships with some of the other people out there, again, providing these single one-stop solutions to our customers.
Well, you know, I want to thank you very much for spending time
Okay.
with me.
All right.
You know, we ended in a very positive note, and
Yes.
thank you very much.
All right, thank you.
You bet.
All right, bye-bye.
Excellent.